Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and today's live stream we're talking about some stocks here as well as some cryptos as we normally do, and we're going to be focusing first off here on Boeing. Let me go ahead and flip this camera over here for my TikTok streamers so they can see what we're looking at. But the big news item of today was that China, they ordered their airlines to stop accepting deliveries of Boeing jets. Okay, this is coming from CBS News article. It goes on here to say that the Chinese government has told the country's domestic airlines to stop accepting deliveries of Boeing jets as a trade war between the world's two largest economies escalates. China is also instructing its carriers to stop buying airline parts and other components from U.S. companies, according to Bloomberg, which cited that people familiar with the situation. Boeing declined to comment, right? The aviation giant's shares, they fell $2.59 to about $156 in morning trading. The order to stop accepting Boeing jets comes after China boosted its retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods to 125%. That matches the level of tariffs that President Trump has placed on Chinese imports. Although those taxes can rise as high as 145% for some products, China's tariffs would have more than double the price of U.S.-made aircraft and parts, making the cost unaffordable. Okay, so before they even put the order in to stop selling Boeing jets and stop buying Boeing jets from America, the parts to buy these airplanes and the airplanes themselves were going to be almost double the price anyways, so it was almost going to be almost too expensive to be buying these airplanes anyways with the way tariffs and the trade war is going. It goes on here to say that Boeing is scheduled to ship about 10 737 MAX aircraft to Chinese carriers, including China Southern, Air China, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but another airline here. And then citing data from Aviation Flights Group, the first quarter, Boeing delivered 130 aircraft in all, including more than 100 737 jets, the company said on April 8th. Mr. Trump addressed the report in Truth Social on Tuesday, writing that China just reneged on the big Boeing deal, saying that they will not take possession of fully committed to aircraft. Bloomberg reported that some of the payment and delivery paperwork on some of those jets ordered by Chinese airlines might have been completed before the trade war expanded earlier this month. In that case, some of the planes might be able to enter China, according to the news service. So yeah, this is really bad here, guys. Trade war is escalating between China and America. China decided to fight back some more, and now they're buying jets, commercial jet airplanes from China themselves. I mean, from America. And then now you have to think, like, how is America, how is the Trump administration going to respond to this? Are they going to retaliate back? You know, they just took the exemption. They just put exemptions on on buying cell phones and computers from China. Are they going to then take those exemptions off and just say, hey, you know what? We're going to ban or increase the tariffs on computers and cell phones from China. I mean, this is not a step in the right direction. And we'll take a look at the stock of Boeing here to see how that affected Boeing on the charts here. But I can't imagine that this is going to help. This is actually going to hurt American manufacturing. This is going to hurt the high-paying manufacturing jobs that Donald Trump wants to protect and the Trump administration wants to protect. Those are some really good paying jobs to be building those airplanes here in America, and China says that they're not going to be buying them anymore. And China has they have options, because America's not the only one that builds airplanes. They have Airbus is a competitor to Boeing. They're based in Europe, so they could stop buying European airplanes. There's also Canada. Canada has regional jets. Bombardier sells regional jets, and then there's also Brazilian jets as well. Brazil makes airplanes as well. And then on top of that, China themselves are also thinking about increasing manufacturing. So I see this hurting Boeing and hurting American jobs at Boeing, and increasing unemployment. And this is going to affect you know, all kinds of markets, including crypto. But let's just take a look at Boeing here real quick. Okay. Boeing is trading at $155.52 right now, down 2.3% today. I mean, Boeing also sells other things besides commercial airplanes. They also do military airplanes and spy satellites for the U.S. government. So they have other revenue streams, but this is going to hurt them, and definitely hurt their expansion. Boeing, you know, we're looking at like kind of like a naked chart here. Boeing looks like it was maintaining a trend line here for the most part before Trump's tariffs came into play and the trade war got worse in April. We broke through that trend line on the daily time frame here. Okay, so this is just bad news bear. Okay, we actually got above that trend line. Okay, but you know, just zooming in on the chart here, I can see us breaking below this trend line one more time and then going down lower as we find out if China is really going to be serious about not buying airplanes from Boeing. Okay, that's a big potential future customer. It's not really going to affect their orders currently. Okay, they still have to make good on the planes that they said they were going to buy. But going forward, I can't see how this is going to help Boeing stock in the future. Let me go ahead and turn on the moving averages, see what the moving averages are showing. Currently, 200-day moving average on Boeing is at $166.38. I don't see us getting above that 200-day moving average with this bit of news coming out from China and affecting Boeing stock. If we do get up to the 200-day moving average at $166, I'm expecting a rejection and coming back down probably to like $140 here on Boeing stock. Yeah, and then, you know, look at the RSI. Okay, we did have a double bottom on the RSI, which could send us to higher prices here. You can see that also is kind of like almost like a double bottom here on the price, but not really. Got a little bit extended over here, but I can't see how, you know, usually a double bottom is considered bullish. I can't see how we can be bullish. If anything, we're going to probably bearishly backtest the 200-day moving average and go down to lower prices right? And if we do go down to low prices here on Boeing, I'll just do a quick Fibonacci analysis, measuring from the top here at 188 bucks down to some of the lows here that we made. Actually, let me do this. I'm gonna do this a little backwards here, but measuring from the lows here at like 130 bucks here on Boeing to the tops here that we made here at about 188. And it has like a 1618 extension here that says that Boeing stock could drop down to like $99, which makes sense. That's like a nice psychological target. Boeing could drop down to about 100 bucks if this trade war continues to get worse. Let me just zoom out, see if there's any more confluence, because we don't want to just rely on one indicator here. Let's go with the weekly time frame. All right, so the weekly time frame is showing that the moving averages are above Boeing. Let's take a look at the monthly time frame here. Okay, yeah, monthly time frame. I mean, Boeing is pretty much at the. I have to go get rid of this this extension here, but just to clean things up a little bit. But Boeing was already kind of like near the 200 monthly average at $163. We're currently below that right now. I can't see how this trade war is going to be good for Boeing in the future. We might continue making some candle closes below the 200 monthly average on Boeing. But yeah, let's we'll get into some other assets here. I see I got some requests from my TikTok streamers. We got Polkadot as a request. We'll take a look at Polkadot. We'll look at that after we look at Bitcoin first. Before I get into a deep dive on cryptocurrencies here, I want to at least look at Bitcoin so we have some reference, because Bitcoin kind of dictates what the market's going to do for crypto. But yeah, I'll take a look at Polkadot for you more. All right, let's take a look at price of Bitcoin, see how that news is affecting Bitcoin. Bitcoin's currently trading at 83,969 here. As I start to become more familiar with the chart here, we're on the monthly time frame. We are getting a green candle here on the monthly time frame. That is good to see here for Bitcoin, up about 1.7% on the monthly candle here. So that's good. Let's get back into the daily chart here for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is showing a red day today. Okay. We might ping pong in between the 21 EMA and the daily time frame here, and the 200 moving average here, simple moving average, between 87,500 and 82,900 could be where we ping pong between these two moving averages here. I do have a Fibonacci analysis here saying that if Bitcoin does come down and we do get some more downward selling pressure on Bitcoin, we could come down to $81,800 before we get another reaction and probably use that as support. I'm still eyeballing the $87,000 range here, which is the 0.618 retracement level. And that's also where the 200-day is sitting at. So I still have my price targets. My short-term price target is 87K for a Bitcoin. And I think that's going to cover Bitcoin for now. Let me go get into that other asset that Mar requested here. We'll look at Polkadot. We can always come back and look at the Bitcoin chart again. But I just wanted to tell you guys, my bearish target on Bitcoin is somewhere between $81,000 and $82,000. My short-term bullish target is 87K on Bitcoin. All right, looking at Polkadot. Polkadot is currently trading at $3.55, down 3.35% today. And Polkadot, you know, I'm just getting familiar with the chart here. I don't think I've done any chart work recently on here, but it's in a downtrend. Obviously, you can see the lower lows that it's making here. Let me see if there's any bullish divergence on the RSI. We had an RSI back here in February at 27.84, and then RSI over here of 27.42. You're actually making lower lows on the RSI. Okay, so you're not really getting bullish divergence on Polkadot. So that leads me to believe that this thing could still probably continue going lower to lower prices here. Let me go ahead and pull up the VRVP. See what the VRVP is saying about Polkadot here. So we got a lot of volume over here, as you can see from the red and green lines here. You have the point of control at $4.25. Polkadot would like to go back up to that level at some point. Right now, anybody that bought Polkadot is most likely they're most likely underwater right now, okay? Because a lot of that volume was at $4.20 or even higher, okay? There shouldn't really be too much selling pressure on Polkadot now that you're below the point of control, and you're also below the value area low, this white line right below the blue line, okay? So I would expect Polkadot to start bottoming out here sooner rather than later, okay? And you're just looking to see if Polkadot's going to make a higher low on the daily time frame to give you some confirmation that you're actually bottoming out here, okay? Or maybe Polkadot actually does come down, right? Retest the lows that it made in early April and gets down to like maybe $3.30, creates a double bottom, and then shoots up to higher prices. Okay, that would be another thing that you want to see. If you're not going to create a higher low, maybe you can do the same low or a double bottom. But yeah, you're looking for a bottom to start forming here on Polkadot sooner rather than later. Okay, and I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Polkadot could possibly come back to the lows here on April 9th, where it got down as low as $3.24. Okay, so you could probably put some buy orders in and see if you get filled at that level, 320 or 330 on Polkadot. Let me just zoom out some more, see if there's any more volume to be looking at on Polkadot. Ooh, no, not really. Okay. Polkadot really hasn't been this low. I'm looking at the 2-week chart here. I mean, we saw Polkadot as low as $3.50 in October of 2023. You would think, you know, that Polkadot would start getting some bids here and try to go up to higher prices. You're kind of in a falling wedge as well on Polkadot. So let's just try to see if we can plan like do like a maybe get a bull case going on here for Polkadot. So you got the falling wedge, and falling wedges usually break up to the upside 70% of the time. They can still break down, but usually they do break up. And you just take from this impulse move here back in November of 2024, take that measured move, right? Put it to like where we could break out at like 350 here, and you have like this falling wedge price target of about like $8.93 for Polkadot. Okay, that puts you above the value area high. I would start taking profits as you go up to higher prices on Polkadot, but you know, buying here near the lows, it's not that high risk. It's actually a low risk trade, and you just put a stop loss. Probably put a stop loss at like $3.10. Right below, yeah, right below where we were towards the end of March here. I probably put like stop loss at 310 and just plan on taking profits as this thing rides back up to higher prices. Appreciate the follows. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that follow button so you can see more live streams like this and more technical analysis looking at the charts here. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can see more live streams like this. But we just did an analysis on Polkadot. Let me see if I got any more requests here. Mar, you had a question about 3xing your money. X means just multiplying. You're just 3xing or multiplying your money by 3 times. When someone says 3x, if someone says like 10x, you're like 10 times your investment. Hope that answers your question. We got Barbie in here saying she wants us to look at the Follow coin. Let's go take a look at the Follow coin. Filecoin currently trading at $2.41, down 4.4% today. And, I'm still using the VRVP here. It's a good way to measure where the volume is on these charts, where people were buying and selling, and where the price might go next here. Okay, so you got Filecoin currently like also in a falling wedge as well. I could draw out the lines here for you guys, so you can see that this is basically a falling wedge. And what do we know about falling wedges? They usually break out to the upside. They're considered a bullish pattern. Okay, they usually break out to the upside 70% of the time. And if this thing does break out, from the impulse move that it made here back in, October of 2024, you take that measured move from, about November 2024 to the top here in December. Take that measured move, you put over towards where you could possibly break out at like $2.41 here on Filecoin. And it's saying that you got a price target here of about $7. Hopefully you're able to see that. $7.21 could be your ultimate take profit target for Filecoin later on in 2025. I'm not saying that's going to happen now or next week or even next month, but could happen sometime in 2025. But as you're climbing up to higher prices, you do have like some volume here on the VRVP saying that, your first take profit target should be about $3.28. You got a high volume node here on the VRVP. Then you got a gap, and then you got another high volume node here at like $4.47. So all that means is that there was a good amount of people that were buying Filecoin at $4.30, $4.40 here. And it makes sense because you can see like there's some sideways trading action in these areas here, okay? So a lot of people are underwater on Filecoin, which means that, if they haven't sold yet, they're probably not going to sell. So there's going to probably be some room to the upside as people will most likely sell once they get back to break even again, if they don't want to be in Filecoin anymore. But right now, point of control on this is at $4.30. So that's probably going to be your most likely target for your profit taken. And then anything above the point of control is considered gravy. You got a gap here a little bit, and then you got like $6 and just $6 right on the button is a lot of volume here. And then you got the value area high saying that this thing could go up to $6.55. But falling, if you're gonna take this falling wedge as your chart pattern that you're trading, then it says that $7.20 is your ultimate take profit target on Filecoin. You can also strategically game plan this for a high reward, low risk situation. You could just put, if you're going to be buying Filecoin at $2.41 right now, then you just put your stop loss probably right below this wick here at $2.11. So maybe like just $2 could be your stop loss, and that's about like a 20% stop loss. If I measure that out right now, right from where we are at $2.44 down to $2, you're risking about 19% on your stop loss. Okay. However, if this thing gets going and gets up to that point of control, that blue line at like $6, you're risking 20% to try and gain 145%. You basically double your money on Filecoin. All right, that's my analysis there on Filecoin, just using the VRVP. Tesla is asking me about what app am I using to track. I am using, right now, I'm using TradingView. This is my TradingView chart that I use to look at these assets here. I think that might answer your question. TradingView is very good to use. You can use it for free, but you only get to use like maybe 1 or 2 indicators. If you want to use more than 1 or 2 indicators, then you can do a subscription plan. And I believe there's a sale going on with TradingView where you can get like, I think 80% off of their subscription plans for Easter. There's an Easter sale going on for TradingView. Okay. So check out tradingview.com so you can look at the charts like I'm looking at them right now. All right, I got a few more requests here. Let's see. Chainlink. Mara wants me to look at Chainlink. And let me see if I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Okay, appreciate Faye you coming on to the live stream. If you haven't hit the follow button, go ahead and hit that follow button so you can see more live streams. You'll know when I go live. You'll see me show up on your live feed. Yeah, we'll take a look at Ethereum as well. User 234. But I had another request before that. We're gonna look at Chainlink and then we'll take a look at Ethereum, okay? Alright. And I see Porky's in the chat too. Hola, Porky. Good to see you make it onto the live stream here. Alright. Noob, what, you said I ignored your request? What request did you have? I had so many people that came in. Oh wait, you just put your request in just now. You're asking about United Airlines? Okay, yeah, we can take a look at United Airlines. So I'm gonna look at Chainlink, then Ethereum, and then I'll look at United Airlines. All right. Let's take a look at Chainlink. Get right on to those requests here. I think I got sick this weekend. I don't know if you guys can hear that in my voice. I think I went out this weekend. Somebody got me sick. Looking at Chainlink, currently trading at $12.30, down 2.64% today. I'm just using the VRVP. Gives me a good idea as like where price might want to go next. And then I can always add more indicators and use more tools if I'm looking for some confluence here. Chainlink looks just like some of the other cryptos that we just looked at recently. I see once again the falling wedge is coming into play here. You got these lows, right? These lower lows here. And you also have what? Some lower highs here. And you got yourself your falling wedge here. And I can do the same thing with Chainlink as well, right? Measuring from the impulse here back in November to top of the high here, we'll say, for January. And you just take that measured move, you put it to like where you could possibly break out. If you're a chart pattern trader, put it over towards where we could break out like $12.30. And it's saying that Chainlink could be a $28.65 is your price target. Just using chart pattern analysis here. Okay, out of the falling wedge. Let me just get rid of some old chart work here. But yeah, looking at the VRVP here with Chainlink, your first take profit target is going to be this point of control, which is sitting at $14.27. Got a lot of people that bought around that area. Okay, so those who are underwater at $14, they might want to just break even and start selling at $14. So you might get some resistance. Hopefully Chainlink can create some support, a higher low, go up to higher prices. And then you got a big gap here in the VRVP, and it says that Chainlink could possibly see some more resistance at $18. $18 seems to hold some weight to it because the 0.236 level, right? This retracement off the fib is saying that at $18.94 is where you could get some resistance on Chainlink, okay? And then as you move on forward, you got the value area high saying $21.67 could be some resistance as well, and that corresponds to the 0.5 fib level at $21.74. So you got some resistance levels to be looking out for. You could just think of these as take profit levels. Okay, as you climb up, you want to probably sell a little bit at 14, sell a little bit at like 20 or 21, $21. And then your ultimate take profit target is going to be about 28 bucks here. Okay, and you'll basically be doubling your money on your Chainlink investment as it climbs up to higher prices here. And once again, I love the falling wedge because you can strategically place your stop loss so you're not losing a lot of money. You just use this last wick here, okay? This candle wick, about $10. So maybe put your stop loss at $9, and you're basically risking about 33% on your stop loss to try and gain that double, that 100% gain on Chainlink. All right. We'll go ahead and look at Ethereum, and then United Airlines is after that. Oh, thanks, noob. Newsbot. I appreciate you as well, man. Thank you for coming onto the stream. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. We pretty much look at Ethereum almost every single day. It's one of the high market cryptocurrencies, one of the popular cryptocurrencies out there. But man, oh man, I'm just looking at the 2-week chart. Okay, and look at this. You've just been losing money every 2 weeks is what these candles represent. Every 2 weeks, you got a red candle. You're losing back here in January, beginning of January, you lost 11% in 2 weeks. Then you lost another 10% 2 weeks after that. Then you lost on the first week of February, you lost 7%. And then 2 weeks after that, you lost another 5%. And then here you lost 25%. That was pretty much the nail in the coffin right there. Once you lost that level, and you can see here, the VRVP is showing you why. Okay, you lost that value area low. You had a lot of volume at the $2,600 level for Ethereum. And once you lost that, it was like a trap door. And you just fell down and hit rock bottom over here. You know, Ethereum came down as low as like 1383. Okay. Could this possibly be a falling wedge on Ethereum? It actually looked more like it was kind of like in the descending channel for the most part, from what I've seen. But let me just zoom out here a little bit, gather some more data here. And we'll see how much lower Ethereum could possibly go. Okay, so you got the point of control kind of like where you're at right now at 1577. So you would think like Ethereum would get some support and try to defend this level as much as it can, because if you do not defend $1,500 on Ethereum, or like basically 1577, you got a big gap here and you could come right back down to $1,300 on Ethereum. That's the level that I think most people are eyeballing at. You almost came down to $1,300 towards the beginning of April here. But if you know 13 doesn't hold, then then it's like 1200 could be like the next level where Ethereum could get some support. So people have been trying to cash the knife and trying to cash the bottom on Ethereum, only for it to continue going lower. I'm not sure how much lower they can keep pushing this thing down before it gets a violent reaction back up. You would think the violent reaction would happen right now at the point of control, this blue line, but you haven't seen that yet. Okay, so maybe this thing has to go a little bit lower to 12 or 1300 bucks. I don't know, for us to get a violent reaction that would at least put us right back to the point of control at like 1500 bucks. But if we're going to be trying to create a bullish case here on Ethereum, just look at the VRVP. You got a little gap here. There wasn't really much trading at 1700 bucks, but Ethereum could come right back up to like 1870. And then once it gets past 1870, then it could, you got a drop in the volume here, and then you got the value area high saying that 2196 or 2200 bucks is where Ethereum would want to go next. And you can see that just using I'm using the 2-week chart here. Okay, you can see you got some candle wick closes, and you got some candle closes and some candle wicks here at the $2200 level for Ethereum. So I would say that's going to be your short-term profit taking level on Ethereum. And then if you do see Ethereum get past that and go up to like $3,000, you should definitely be taking profits as this thing continues climbing higher, if it can even do that. I mean, this thing, it could just stay down at $1,500 and just frustrate the hell out of everybody, and as more and more people give up on Ethereum. But yeah, that's my analysis there on Ethereum. Let me go back into daily charts here. You get the same kind of data, but now the candles look a little bit different on the chart here. And if I pull up the moving average, the moving averages for Ethereum, let me see. That red line, the 200-day moving average, is probably where you want to start taking profit on Ethereum, if it could even get itself back up there again. This red line, I expect, will start trending down as Ethereum continues trading at these lower prices here. But it should be coming down at some point into like the mid 2000s, probably. I would say end of May, going into June, and then maybe Ethereum can finally get above the 200-day moving average. All right, moving on to United Airlines here. By the way, in my opinion, anytime you're below the 200 moving average, you should be bearish on that asset. So I'm bearish on Ethereum until it can get above the 200-day moving average. All right, let me get a swig of water here. I see a request. We got a request here for Bitcoin dominance. We can take a look at that. For sure, yeah. So here we are. We're looking at United Airlines currently trading at $67, up 2% today. Probably doing better than Boeing because they don't actually make the airplanes; they fly the airplanes in the domestic company. So they don't really have to worry about trade wars for the most part, because all their businesses, for the most part, in the United States. I think they have to have some international routes, but I don't think that really is going to affect them. Okay, I'm just familiarizing myself with this chart. Looks like you guys had an earnings report recently. Was that today? Yeah. You guys reported, United Airlines reported earnings of 91 cents. They were expecting 74 cents, so they had an earnings surprise of about 17 cents, upside of 22%. Revenue came in at 13.2 billion. Estimate was 13.23 billion. So a little bit downside on the revenue, but not too much. Only they missed by like $15 million, even though they're raking in billions of dollars. Okay, and you can see that on the aftermarket. All right, United Airlines is actually trading at 71 bucks right now, up 6.5% in the aftermarket hours, trading hours here. So you can see, you know, on my trading view chart, like this green number is the price that it settled at, 67 bucks. But right now, this blue number is what this thing is trading at right now, tonight, in the post-market, aftermarket hours here. Okay, so actually, you're actually at 71 bucks. So kudos and, you know, congratulations to the United Airlines investors out there and traders. I can see United Airlines continuing this upside move up to the 200-day moving average, which is currently sitting at 73 bucks, 73.96. Okay. Once you get above that 200-day moving average, I would start to become more bullish on United Airlines. Okay. Let's see what the stochastic RSI is saying. You are getting a little bit high on the stochastic RSI, but the stochastic RSI can stay high for long periods of time before it starts coming back down again. It just means that buyers are showing up. MACD is showing some green candles, so you are getting a little bit of buying pressure. So that kind of confirms that buyers are starting to show up. And now you have the RSI here of about 44.97, which leads me to believe that this thing has room to run to the upside before it gets overbought. Overbought would be like an RSI of like 70. This red number would be like 70, because like back here, you know, you had like RSI of like 88 and 75, 79 in like October, November of 2024. So this thing does have room to run if it wants to continue going higher to higher prices. And if it does go to higher prices, just looking at moving averages alone, you have some resistance probably at the 100-day moving average at 83 bucks. Looks like you got some sideways trading action at that $76 and $80 region. So that could also be some more resistance. And let's see. 50-day could possibly provide some resistance at 92 bucks. Yeah, I think yeah, I could see like a candle wick close and a wick down here at like 90 bucks. Let me go ahead and switch over to VRVP, see what the VRVP has to say. Yeah, so point of control right now is at 74, 75 bucks. You got a lot of volume at that level. So I expect people to start taking profit at the short-term trades to take profit at 74 to 75 bucks. And then you got a gap here at 80, and then yeah, about like 88 bucks. You got some more volume there. And then the value area high, which would probably be your ultimate take profit target, you probably want to be targeting 95 bucks. I'm not sure if this thing will actually come right back up to like the $100 area, but just looking at the VRVP, right? I just give this thing a chance to reset. I think $95 is a reasonable long-term take profit target for United Airlines. Didn't really get into a bearish case here. They reported good earnings, so I don't think this thing should be coming down. But if it does come down, I would probably try to get right in at the candlewick low here at like 52 bucks if you're able to get it at those prices. And if it could go lower than that, then you got the value area low saying that 44, 45 bucks should be another good area of support for United Airlines. That's if you're lucky enough to get it at those prices. I think after reporting good earnings and with oil prices coming down, making things a lot cheaper for these airlines to operate, I can see more upside going forward for United Airlines. I'd be more bullish than bearish. Mr. Bullish, I think you're asking on the right side of the screen is my VRVP indicator. That is the volume range visual profile indicator. It gives me this green and red bars. And then I get a blue line, which is where majority of the volume was at, based on whatever data, however far back we're looking back on. Okay. And point of control is very important because it's like a magnet. It likes to go to that level whenever possible. Okay. You can see that, you know, with United Airlines here, we went up, got up to the value area high, this white line. Then we came back down and we kind of like settled near the point of control here. Boom, 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 boom. Came down below, but looks like we're going right back up to the point of control again. And we'll probably go bing, 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 boom, sideways, and then pop up again for this asset. But yeah, the VRVP, to set it up, you go on Trading View, you go to type in your indicators for VRVP. And the way I set this thing up here, right, I go over to settings. When you first look at it, it's probably going to say 24 on the row size. I don't like 24. I like having 240, so I just add a 0 to the row size, so I get 240. And then for the style here, you know, you can usually leave these things alone here, but your value area high and your value area low, they might actually not be on. They might be clicked off. So just click on VAH and VAL to get your value area high and your value area low. And then the POC is your point of control. Just for it to stand out, I like making my point of control, I like the color blue, so it stands out to me. That's where the point of control is at. And then your chart will look something like this on TradingView. All right, looking at some of the comments here. User says you want to hold for 3 to 4 years. Okay. You bought a put at $66, hoping it'll drop below 65 before the 17th. Okay. And let me see. I think I want to make sure I covered. Oh, we said we're going to talk about Bitcoin dominance. We'll go back into Bitcoin again and look at the BTC dominance. And old Dusty Taco saying buy D's. I don't know what buy D's is supposed to mean. Is that a cryptocurrency? D's. Let's go into Bitcoin dominance here. Looks like Bitcoin is dropping down a little bit lower right now. Currently, Bitcoin price is at 83,700 bucks. Look at the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is steadily climbing up higher, as it's been doing for like the last couple of years now. All right. As I zoom out here, you'll see that Bitcoin dominance back in, like, you know, it's been climbing up ever since like November of 2022. When basically the bottom of the bear market for crypto. We saw BTC dominance get as low as like 40%. Currently we're at 63%, and we're still climbing higher. BTC dominance going higher is not too much of a bad thing here for Bitcoin. Let me just get rid of the VRVP. Bitcoin dominance having the dominance go higher is not that bad, because it just means that more money is going in Bitcoin. The altcoins can continue going up to higher prices if Bitcoin is also going up to higher prices and the dominance is going higher. But what this dominance thing is showing me is that there's not going to be an altcoin season anytime soon here. Okay, you want to see Bitcoin dominance go down, because like when we had our altcoin season back in like November and December of 2024, look what Bitcoin dominance did. It was at like 60% for the highs, right? And then it came down into the first week of December, where we saw Bitcoin dominance get as low as like 54%. Okay, so that was your altcoin season right there. And now Bitcoin dominance is still climbing up higher. It got really high in the first week of February when altcoins had like a little panic attack, right? But this thing is still climbing up higher. Let's look at the RSI here to see if this thing is getting a little bit overheated while it's climbing up. So I just turned on the RSI, and we'll look at the daily time frame here, and you see that the RSI is getting overbought on Bitcoin dominance. We're at 75 about a week ago, and then here I see 73.66, and now right now we're at 70.53. This is actually making me feel better about altcoins, okay? Because what we have here, and it's very subtle, right? But we obviously have higher Bitcoin dominance, right? Dominance keeps going up higher. However, I see the beginning of some bearish divergence here, right? On the dominance chart, you got lower highs on the RSI, but higher highs on the dominance. This could mean that dominance might go sideways at best going forward, or it might even come down. And if it comes down, that's the beginning of your altcoin season. Your next altcoin season will happen when Bitcoin dominance goes down. Guys, did you hear about, going back to Ethereum, did you guys hear about the news that the Ethereum spot ETFs for staking rewards that got denied by the SEC? Well, it didn't get denied, it just got, it got extended, the deadline got extended till June. The ultimate deadline is they have to make a decision about it by October of 2025. But that would be the bit of good news for Ethereum if they do staking rewards on their ETFs, then that would cause more people to get excited about Ethereum and investing in Ethereum. But that didn't happen today, and it might happen on June or later on this year. We'll get an answer. All right. So old Dusty's just trying to be funny, okay? Let's take a look at the crypto bubbles to see what's doing well today in cryptocurrency world. So you got your bubbles, most of them are in the red. You got Pi Network down 13.3%, Bartcoin down 11%, HNT down 8%, Move down 8%. Most of them are down like 5 or 6% right now. Some of these coins are actually in the green. You got Dexy, FTN, and OM Mantra up 34%. But I'd be careful with OM. There's some funny business going on with OM. They dropped down almost 90% this past weekend. So a lot of people lost a crap ton of money. And now you're getting a little pity bounce, a little dead cat bounce right now on OM. They're saying that they're trying to buy back some of their coins. And I don't know. They haven't come out with any details yet. I know it's a, you know, it's only been a few days here, but they need to start doing something there. Let's take a look. Let's see. Love Guru's in the chat. HQZ and Rich. Hey guys. I think I've seen some of you guys over on Porky Flounder's live stream. Appreciate you guys coming out to live stream. Let's see. You're waiting for a double V on Bitcoin to buy Solana, hopefully under $100. We could take a look at the Solana chart since you mentioned it. I feel like $100 is a good psychological level for Solana. You wouldn't be the only person that's trying to buy it at $100. I would probably be buying at $100 if I can get it at that price. We did see Solana get as low as $95 on Monday, April 7th. For those who were brave enough to buy it at that level. And then it just went up higher from there. Let's see. What can I make from Solana here? I do see a little bit of a potential bullish divergence on the chart here, which leads me to believe that Solana is bottoming out here at the low $100 level. Oh, what? No, I didn't want to do that. Okay. But as I zoom out, I got an old fib level here, fib analysis that shows you some of the fib levels that some traders and investors are looking at for Solana. This is measuring from the top here at $295 down to like the low here at like $20 during the bear market lows for Solana. I still think this is an applicable chart to look at, and it's showing that the 0.382 retracement level is at $125, which is currently where you are sitting at for Solana, right? Solana is at $126. That's about right where that 0.382 fib level's at. Okay. I would like to see Solana try to recapture and get to $158, which would be the 0.5 retracement level. But it could come down to that 0.236 retracement at $85. I don't know if that might be a little bit hard for some of you guys to read here. But yeah, I got $85 as the fib retracement level for Solana. I think that's the ultimate bearish target for Solana if we continue being bearish on Solana, and if Solana continues the downtrend here. I can't be bullish on Solana until we get past this last high that we made here back in on March 25th when we got as high as like $147. I want to see Solana get up to that price and go a little bit higher than that, so I know that we're making higher highs on the price. What we're waiting for on Solana is if this is the high water mark here at $136 from yesterday, then we want to see Solana put in a higher low, and Solana could possibly come down as low as $101 and still be making a higher low. So there's still some room to the downside. There's still some possibilities of getting some lower prices on Solana. We'll see if Solana can actually turn this 21 EMA into a line of support. That's at $122. So yeah, if Solana loses like $122, you might want to put that as a price alert, because you might be able to scoop up some cheaper Solana at like $110 or lower. As it continues going lower. So I would probably put like a reminder, you know, I'll even draw a horizontal line at this level. We want to see Solana stay above $120 roughly, because if it loses that red line, then you might be able to get some good deals on Solana, and you might see your $100 Solana there. Love Guru. Rich, let's see. Rich is talking about OM. You had a OM long with a stop at 56 cents, and it came down, triggered your stop loss, and then they sent it. Yeah, that's what the market makers like to do. They like to go stop loss hunting and then send it in the direction that you were already planning on it going. We'll take a look at the OM. Let me just finish up my analysis here on Solana. Ultimately, if Solana can get above $147, then it might get some resistance from this 50-day moving average, which could provide some temporary resistance. Then also, I want to see Solana get up to 180 bucks. Once it gets up to 180 bucks, I would be back to becoming bullish on Solana, because then you recapture and you reclaim the 200-day moving average, and then maybe you can use that as trading as support. And a lot of trading bots and professional investors, they would start buying Solana once they see it above the 200-day moving average. So that's my ultimate target for Solana in the near term. Let's look at OM real quick. I would be very careful with this asset. There's going to be a lot of volatility going into the rest of this week here. But right now, this OM mantra is currently at 80 cents, and it's up 34%, almost 35% today. And it's having a roller coaster ride. You had a big steep drop here, where you had like I call this a devil candle. Some people say God candle for like the big giant green candles. This would be like a devil candle, down 83% on Sunday, when news came out that a lot of mantra got sold, and they're blaming it on the founders of mantra. But they're saying that they didn't actually sell that was mislabeled wallets about that being the founders, but who knows. Then there's one founder saying that they're going to be planning on buying OM, but that could just be them trying to cover their butts as they plan on selling more, right? But yeah, this thing lost the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average at $4.21. And why did it stop here? Okay, why did it stop at like 73 cents? Actually, no. Yeah, like 50 cents. Why did it stop here at 37 cents was the low on Sunday. 46 cents was the low on Monday. 55 cents was the low on Tuesday. If I pulled the VRVP, it's probably going to tell us why that happened, okay? So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Yeah, so here's the VRVP, the volume range visual profile. And it's showing that point of control, the blue line, is at 75 cents. Okay, so that's where a majority of the buyers were buying mantra at that level. You got like some support roughly here at like 70 cents. A lot of sideways trading action back in April of 2024, May of 2024. So that's why this thing just dropped down, and there's probably people that bought here forgot they even held this asset, and they're just at break even, so they're not going to sell, okay, at 70 cents. But yeah, this thing came even lower than 70 cents. It actually came down here to like 37 cents, and you got like the value area high around that level as well. If this thing continues going lower, you now have the point of control at like 5 or 6 cents, so you could still lose a lot of money. Another 9% drop on mantra OM. And I think one of the reasons why it just stopped going down was, you know, anybody that short sold this crypto on Sunday, they made a shit ton of money, and in order for them to cover their short, they had to buy back in again. So they bought back in at these levels here. And that's why you're getting this nice little green candle today, up 36%. But I just think that short's covering. You can't really game plan or actually come up with any way to trade this besides just look at the candle wicks. If you're at the near the daily high, right, we got as high as like 99 cents today. That would be a good time to short sell that this crypto here. And you put the stop loss probably above the candle wick high of on Monday at $1.10. So maybe like $1.11. You could have been putting a stop loss, and then now you can just continue shorting this crypto all the way down to like 5 or 6 cents. Yeah. If you're risky and you think like the founders are actually good guys and they're gonna try to buy back this crypto again, you could put in a buy near the low at like around here, like 50 cents. Put your stop loss at like 35 cents. And if it goes below 35 cents, you probably want nothing to do with this crypto because it's going to continue going lower. And you don't want to take on any more losses after that. But if they buy this thing back in again, right, you want to see this thing start creating higher lows, higher highs as we try to climb back up to the $6 level, where you have a lot of people that are underwater right now because you got some volume here on the VRVP saying that people were buying at $5 or $6. You got a lot of sideways trading action at $6. Everybody here, you know, since the beginning of March is now underwater on this crypto. So if they're trying to get back to break even again, they're not going to sell. So there shouldn't be that much selling pressure as this thing climbs up higher. All right, appreciate the compliment, Mike Quail. Yeah, you might want to look at crypto bubbles. Shows you all the cryptos and what they're doing on any particular day. You can also click on weekly, see which crypto's doing good or bad during the week. Then you can look at like which crypto did the best this past month, right? Farcoin doing the best right now. Then you got Radium and Core. Onyx Coin's been doing pretty well this past month. And then you can see what crypto's done well over the past year. XRP, XCN, XLM. Seems like anything that begins with an X is doing pretty well this past year. HBAR, GT. Okay, so you might want to look at crypto bubbles to go look at your cryptocurrencies. All right, let's see. Rich, you're saying that my audio is pretty low? Let me see. I don't know if there's any way I can actually raise the volume here. Let's see. Music. Mic is up high all the way. Music is down. Desktop is up as high as I possibly can get it. Yeah, there's not really much I can do besides just get closer. I could try getting closer to the mic here. But that's, yeah, there's nothing. I could try talking louder, I guess. But I think I got sick this past week, so that might be affecting my voice. This past weekend, I think I got sick. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you, Love Guru, asking people to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys, on the way out. Appreciate the likes and the subscribes. All right, let's see what other crypto we can do. I don't think we have talked about Sui recently here. Let's take a look at see how Sui's doing here. So I'm looking at Sui. I got the VRVP here. Point of control for Sui is at $2.26 here, roughly. We're a little bit below that. Currently trading at $2.10 on Sui. You can see that the value area low got respected at like $1.88. Is pretty much where Sui came down and got support at. We do have a candle wick low that came a little bit below that of $1.71 on Monday, April 7th. But I'm expecting Sui, if it does come back down, I'm expecting it to retest about $1.90 get a bounce and a reaction off of that and go back up to the point of control at 227. And then we do want to see SUI get above this point of control, get above some of these local highs here. I do want to see it get above this high that it made on the end of March. And we need to see SUI get above $2.83 before we can become even more bullish on SUI. And then we do have the value area high as our probably our medium term take profit target at about $3.51. So yeah, I would be targeting 351 for SUI if you're bullish on SUI. And I'd be a buyer in between like $1.90 and where it's at right now at 210. And then you just put your stop loss probably somewhere, if if you don't want to get hit and you want to keep it tight though, probably at $1.70 or $1.69. And yeah, I would just be a buyer of SUI at these levels here and see if it goes up to higher prices. Now let's take a look at the moving averages, see what the moving averages have to say with SUI. $21 EMA kind of acting as resistance right now. 200 MA, the red line is at $3.15. I wouldn't be completely bullish on SUI until it gets above that. So right now we're still having a bearish bias as long as we're below that 200 moving average on SUI. Let's see what the oscillators are doing here. RSI looks like it is trying to create higher lows here. So that leads me to believe that SUI is creating a bottom at the $2 area. See what the MACD is showing. I gotta zoom in on this thing. Oh no. No, no, no. Alright. Jeez. When you go from one asset to the other, if it's big difference here, it really messes up the oscillators. But yeah, we got the MACD showing some green candles here recently, but it looks like we're coming back down. You might be able to scoop up some cheaper SUI in the next few days here. I also see the stochastic RSI starting to trend down, so it looks like SUI wants to come down, maybe retest the lows that it made here from last week. Maybe you get like a double bottom or a higher low, and then you can see this thing go up to higher prices. But yeah, I want to see this thing get up to like 280 and above before I can get completely bullish on SUI. So I think I've been going live for about an hour here. I usually go live for about an hour. Do we have any more requests before I decide to go get some dinner here? Yeah, I'm gonna have to double check what the audio was like on my YouTube stream. Seems like my TikTok streamers are saying that the volume is pretty good to them, but there might be something going on with YouTube, or it could just be me being sick. A little bit of a cold here. Take a look at Avalanche, AVAX. See what Avalanche is doing. Avalanche is currently at $19.03, down 5.3%. And what I have been looking at so far here with Avalanche is I want to see if this double bottom is going to play out here. You know, we had a bottom here on Tuesday at $15.28 on March 11th, and then we had another bottom here at $14.65 on April 7th. I highlighted that with this white line here. That's one bottom. Then you got another bottom here. Okay, and the way the double bottom plays out for AVAX, right? You measure from the bottom to the top in between the two bottoms that it made. You take that measure move, which is this yellow line here, you put on top of the top in between the two bottoms. Gives you your price target, right? We're looking for $31. That blue number there is the price target if the double bottom is going to play out. It also happens to lie right where that 200-day moving average is at $31, okay? So could Avalanche, could AVAX get right back up to that 200-day moving average? That would be my ultimate take profit target. And then if it does that, right, you know, let's just game plan this out, right? If we go from 19 bucks up to like 31, you got yourself a 63% gain on Avalanche, AVAX. So those are your take profit targets here, but let's see. Do the oscillators agree that we're bottoming out here? I believe they do, right? We got a low here on the RSI of like 30.28. And we got another low here of 34.24. So you are creating higher lows on the RSI, even though you were creating lower lows on the price. So there is some bullish divergence that is showing up here on the charts for AVAX, Avalanche. And then you got the double bottom. I feel comfortable buying this crypto. I mean, look at this. You can even get, this thing's coming below 19 bucks right now. Okay. Maybe this comes down for like a triple bottom at like the $15 area. You should be trying to scoop up as much Avalanche as you can, like 15 or 16 bucks. And then you can put your stop loss strategically. You can place it at like 13.50. Okay. So you're not risking too much. And you're good to go. Trying to cash this bottom here on Avalanche. I believe Avalanche is trying to bottom out here. Let me just zoom out here to the weekly chart here. Could Avalanche go lower? Yeah, it could, because it got as low as like 9 bucks and 10 bucks here in like September of 2023. Let's see, what's the lowest price it got? It got as low as $8.72 in 2023. So yeah, you could lose another 50% from where you are right now on Avalanche. So nothing's guaranteed. You can still lose money on this thing. But I mean, look at the weekly chart here. You got the stochastic RSIs are really low and curving back up. So buyers are stepping up to the plate. Also, looking at the MACD on the weekly chart for Avalanche, you got selling pressure is coming down, right? You go from red, red, red to like light pink, light pink, light pink. That means sellers are getting exhausted, and then you might get a MACD flip and start getting some green candles again on the MACD, which just indicates and confirms that buyers are going to be pushing the price up on Avalanche. But nothing's set in stone. You know, I have seen on the MACD, I've seen it go light pink, and then back to dark red again, dark red, dark red, dark red, dark red. So there's no guarantee that that we're gonna see higher prices for Avalanche, but it looks like it's trying to do that right now. It looks like we're getting the bottom here for Avalanche according to the MACD and according to the stochastic RSI and according to the double bottom pattern here, and also the RSI showing bullish divergence on the daily time frame here. Okay, I feel safe and comfortable that this thing is starting to bottom out here. Okay. All right. I think that's going to be it here for me, guys. Appreciate you guys coming on to live stream. I'm going to go get some dinner. Be on the lookout for my next live stream. I'll try to go live around the same time tomorrow. And we'll take a look at the charts and see where prices might be going next for some of these assets. Okay. Take care, guys, and I'll see you on the next live stream.